So the name Carlee Alm-Labar is a name that you have heard many times on this radio station, as Carlee has volunteered for many different things in our community, including Fix the Charter. She also worked for Lafayette Consolidated Government, and she has volunteered at a variety of different groups and for different organizations and events. So, Carlee, thanks for sitting down and doing this with us.
Thank you, Bernie. I appreciate being here.
So let me ask you this. So are you from Lafayette?
Not originally. I've moved here right after college. So both my parents were born and raised in Chicago, but they had a computer business in Knoxville, Tennessee. So I was raised there from the time I was 5 until I went away to college. And then after college, I moved to South Louisiana and just fell in love with the area and have been here ever since.
So we kept you is what you're saying.
Oh, yes,
right?
yes. I think that South Louisiana and Lafayette and Acadiana has just one of the best cultures in the world. Certainly, in the United States, and it's just the most amazing place to be. And so when I started living here and, you're invited to like your first gumbo or you're and your first crawfish boil and you're like, this is amazing. This doesn't happen other places. This is wonderful. So I fell in love with the area and have never wanted to leave.
I think it's so great because, many people that same story has been their story.
Yeah, it becomes home really easily. Yeah. If you like people and you like doing things like that, it feels more natural than any other place.
So tell me about Knoxville, though. I mean, growing up there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. Mm-hmm. Different kind of terrain, as you might imagine, than South Louisiana. Kind of not the sharp mountains you see out west, but these nice mountains, beautiful hills, and it was a great place to grow up. And a lot of similarities because it was in the South, just a slightly bigger community than Lafayette, and college town. So there are a lot of things that are similar to Lafayette, and it's a great community. And I still get back there about once a year.
Once a year to be able to visit.
Yeah,
that's terrific. Yeah. So, okay, when you were in school, were you like the vice president of the student council or in speech and debate?
Did I tell you that I was the vice president of the student council?
No.
I was.
Really
I really was exactly the vice president. I have always been, I would say, a pretty responsible person, made pretty good grades and, was one of those always in school and just very active, very, in lots of clubs. Tried to pretend that I was an athlete, but have never been a great athlete. So I played soccer and swam. But,
I think that's adorable.
Yeah. But it was never what I was best at. I was mostly, honestly, similar to how I am as an adult, involved in sort of the school-wide things and, generally someone that tried to get along with everyone and, generally was involved in as many activities as I could be and just kind of in and around school as much as possible.
I can't believe I picked vice president.
Right, I know, of all the things, right?
I swear, I did not look it up.
I'm not sure if it's available anywhere, even if you wanted to. But yes, that's exactly what I was. So, yeah.
So really, you've had a commitment to serve people forever, it seems like.
It's always been what I enjoyed doing. In college, I did a few different things. One of the things I had the opportunity to do, I went to school up in the Chicago area, in Northwestern, and there was, I think at the time, we had the second largest college philanthropy in the country, something called Dance Marathon. I think they may have done it at UL one time.
Wait, that it says. It sounds familiar.
It was a 30-hour, kind of
where people just
600 or 700 students dance. And so my senior year, I was on the executive, committee for that. We raised about $400,000
$400,000
for a children's hospital. Yeah,
for a children's hospital with a dance off.
Right.
Carlee, that's incredible.
Yeah. So that it was always something that I love to do, is just doing things that were serving the community, being involved and being, volunteering in my free time and then kind of taking care of my responsibilities in my not free time.
Okay. So did you always feel that need to serve?
I think I remember.
Does that come from your parents too?
I don't think, I'm sure it does. I owe a lot to my parents because they're wonderful people. My dad passed away a few years ago, but they were always my mom will joke now that she always tried to be kind of hands off because I always just said, oh, I have it, under control. Yeah, exactly. So, my mom doesn't really take credit, but I'm sure she really gets all the credit.
So was it the juggling of all of this? Was this something that was easily for you to handle? And the reason I say that is because, people like to serve in our community. They really do.
Yes.
And it is a juggling act.
Yes.
Though.
Yeah.
So is it kind of a crazy existence somewhat?
It is, and I've always enjoyed it. For me, I mean, even when I first moved to this area, so I moved here and I taught at Church Point High School for a few years, high school math. And
you are smart.
Yeah. Well, algebra, some people, it was just always something that came relatively easy to me. So I tried to teach it to others. But I always wanted another outlet. So even when I first moved here and was teaching, that was right about the time that the first CASA program in this area was getting started, Court Appointed Special Advocates. And so I started volunteering with them, actually just in the office, because I didn't think I had time to be an actual advocate.
Yeah.
But I like being involved in a diversity of things because I like having well-rounded knowledge of the community and people that I serve. And so it's one of the reasons that I've always tried to volunteer, because I think it just helps me understand and get to know different people other than what my current work environment is.
Your current circle of what it may be.
Right. Yeah.
So, and that's true, because I remember coming to a meeting. I was so excited when I heard about the CASA program being in the Lafayette area.
Yeah.
I thought, wow, because court appointed special advocates. So if you become an advocate for a child, you become that child's voice. So whenever the situation is that they have been removed from their home, neglect, abuse, a combination of whatever may be, that child really does need someone just to speak for them, what they think, what they see.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's so many kids in foster care, unfortunately.
Yeah.
There are so many, the social workers that work with them, and it can be really hard for them to understand when they have case after case after case,
I would bet.
The detail that you might want. And so the CASA program was designed to help give another voice to kind of help spend more time with the child, be their advocate that can balance all of the factors in their life and make sure that the court system was making the best decisions on the behalf of the child. And look, the social workers in those situations and the judges in those situations, they're trying to do the same thing, but they just need more time and more information. And so this is another way to do that. And, both the kids and the advocates often develop a really special bond, and it helps improve outcomes in our foster care system.
And the thing with being the voice, often what will happen is a child will be able to express to their advocate, things that, maybe they were removed because of their dad, and now their dad no longer lives in their home, and maybe, okay, they have to go into another situation, but is mom the right person? They may be able to tell that advocate those things.
Right.
That they wouldn't tell a social worker
right.
or a judge.
Right.
Too intimidating.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, we're lucky enough to have a CASA program here, and, it's one of the, I don't volunteer as much with them anymore, but still try to support
one of the
their
things in your
heart.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Carlee, okay, let's talk about some of the other things you're involved in, because I see your face everywhere. Yeah. I bump into you quite often. You have a big Facebook presence. So tell us a little bit more about the things that Carlee Alm-Labar loves to give her time to.
Well, it's been in a diversity of things. And I think that's kind of why I was saying before, why I do them and spread my time and energy out to different things that move me, I guess. I've volunteered for several years with the Leadership Institute of Acadiana, which runs the Leadership Lafayette program. I was a graduate, I guess, in about 2006. And since that time, I've helped in the programming. I've chaired the organization and helped start a couple of programs, the Intro Lafayette program, which is now for newcomers. We do that a few times a year. The Acadiana Onboard program, which trains board and nonprofit leaders. Really still help out on the programming side to help make sure that our programming is as strong as possible for our future leaders. So I've done that for a while and have really enjoyed it. I've volunteered.
I'd imagine so.
Yeah, it's great. And, my favorite thing probably about that program is that, every Leadership Lafayette class that starts, it's about 30 people. And really it's people who just want to make a difference.
Yeah.
And so it's, for someone like me, it's, if I get to meet 30 people who just want to make a difference, like that's a really exciting thing for me. And really I find that with, my friends that are really involved and my friends that are not very involved, when you sit down with people, they all just want a great community. They all are willing to do what they can do to make a better Lafayette. It's just some people intuitively understand how to get involved and other people, not quite sure. And so, that's one of the things that just, whether it's in my volunteer roles or in my personal with my friends, I just try to encourage people, it's easy to get involved in Lafayette. It's just, what's the phrase? Like 90% of things is just showing up.
Right.
And, that's really true in Lafayette. Like if you have a commitment to getting involved and you just start showing up to things, people want help and they want committed, dedicated people, people that love our area. And so, that's you find a lot of those folks going through the leadership programs in our community and just people who are trying to find their way to give back. So that's one of the things. My husband grew up as a soccer player, and then when he moved to town, he became a soccer coach. So I've volunteered a lot with the Lafayette Youth Soccer Association.
Oh, that
actually,
must be fun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
He coached a team, the same team for a few years. So we got involved in that, and then we played some adult soccer. I don't play anymore, but I have served on the board for a few years to help them and, just help them because I had nonprofit experience and help them with nonprofit governance and things like that. So my term there will come to an end this June, but I've done that for a few years. And, my husband's been a volunteer soccer coach, both at the high school level and at what they call the club level for, a few years. And he's taken the last couple of years off, but that's one of his passions, one of the things that he's really good at. So, and there's other things. I'm involved in the junior league as well. And this year I'm on the board and helping with the organization's finances, and next year I'll be the community vice president. So
you're going back into that role.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So lots of things that our community is filled with so many great and committed and dedicated folks, and I'm just trying to be a part where I can contribute.
Carlee Alm-Labar is our guest this morning, and we have so much more to come and to ask, and we've got to find out even more about this wonderful woman, so it's on the way.